Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am sharing with you my summer reading list. I am an avid reader. I absolutely love reading, and I've seen a couple of these videos show up in my suggestions lately, and it just got me really motivated to create my own summer reading list and share it with you guys. So I am going to be sharing with you my reading list for June, July, and August. I tend to try to read about 2 to 3 books a month. Usually I can get close to 3. So what I did was I picked up at least 2 books per month. And then what I'm gonna do is for that 3rd book, if I do get to it, then I'll just pick something off of my Goodreads list. I am gonna link my Goodreads account down in the description box too. So if you are on Goodreads, definitely request me as a friend on Goodreads or follow me. I'm not quite sure how Goodreads works yet. I just got on it and I'm kind of obsessed with it. So I'll link my account down in the description box. But I think my goal this year is to read, I think, 45 books, and I believe I'm about 17 books in. Is that right? I think I'm about 20 books in, and it's June, so I feel like that's pretty good. So anyways, I have some of these books on my Kindle, and I have some of these books as physical books. I am trying to transition more into my Kindle. It's a very slow-moving process because I really love the idea of physical books and just holding a book in my hands, but on the other hand, when I'm traveling, running around and all that kind of stuff, it's a lot easier to have that on my Kindle. So I have my Kindle, and then I have physical books. I'm going to just go ahead and jump right into it. If you're a fellow bookworm like me, comment down below and let me know what books you're currently reading or that you plan to read this summer. I tend to choose like a fiction and a nonfiction. I tend to like to go back and forth because I've noticed if I read too many fiction books or vice versa, too many nonfiction books, I just kind of get a little, I don't know, too burnt out on whichever genre I'm reading. So I like to switch it up. For this month, I'm actually currently reading a couple of these books already. The first book that I am currently rereading, so I have already read this book and I've talked about this in other videos, is The Bullet Journal Method by Ryder Carroll. He's the creator of the Bullet Journal Notebook. And honestly, if you are at all interested in bullet journaling, I would highly, highly recommend this book. It is so helpful for actually breaking down the system of the bullet journal, going into more details about the simplicity of it rather than the artistic side of it. While he does mention in this book that it's totally fine to do the artsy type of stuff if that's what you're into, he breaks down more of like the actual process of what bullet journaling is so you can actually understand how to organize your life with it. And it is so helpful. Every time I've read this, I get so much more organized because I get back into the flow of the original bullet journal method. So highly, highly recommend this if you're interested at all in bullet journaling. I'll link a video down in the description box for my beginner bullet journal tips, and I actually talk about this video and show it a little bit too. So I mentioned this book in a couple of my bullet journal videos, so obviously I really love it, but I'm rereading it to get kind of back to basics with my bullet journal. So I'm currently reading that. I have been reading this book since, I don't know, like April, and for some reason I kind of took a break from it for a while. I'm about halfway through it, but it's a really good book. It is the 10x rule. The whole concept of it is the only difference between success and failure is the 10x rule. And it's basically just going into detail about your effort and how that correlates to your success. And it's just a really motivational book. It breaks down things into really tangible pieces. And I mean, you could see like I have highlights in here. Like, I love this book. I've written in it, I've highlighted it, like I'm obsessed with this book. The other book that I am in the process of reading currently is All We Ever Wanted by Emily Giffin. I hope I said that right. It's super interesting. I'll read you guys the description of it. In this riveting novel from the #1 best-selling author of Something Borrowed and First Comes Love, 3 very different people must choose between their families and their most deeply held values. It's just such a thought-provoking book so far that make you think about your own personal values and what you would do in that particular situation. Oh, it's so thought-provoking. I love it. It's such a good page turner too. So those are my June books. For my July reading list, the 2 books that I've chosen, my fiction book is Bird Box by Josh Malerma. I watched the movie of Bird Box on Netflix, which I know this is a little delayed because that was kind of, what was that? Back in the winter, I think that everybody was watching that, but that movie totally freaked me out. And I'm someone too that if I watch something and learn that it's a book, I like to go back and actually read the book and just experience it from the author's perspective since they're the one that created the whole thing. I am definitely excited to read this book. I checked it out from the library on my Kindle, which that's another cool thing about Kindles. Like, my library is connected with my Kindle, so I can check books out from the library and they're just here. It's great. It's awesome. And then there's no late fees if I forget to take my book back, which is cool. Bird Box is definitely on my list for my fiction book for July. And then my nonfiction, this has been on my bookshelf forever and I want to read it. I feel like the summertime is kind of a good like refresh, I feel. I say that about every season though, but so Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. I'm sure you've heard of this book if you're at all into personal development books or self-growth books like I am. Stop believing the lies about who you are so you can become who you are meant to be. I've heard such good things about this book. I do know that it tends to have a little bit of a religious feel. I mean, while I don't follow a particular religion, I still am a person that has faith and that believes in something bigger than myself, so I'm not really that concerned about it. But I know I was reading the Goodreads review and there was a lot of people that were kind of bashing it for this. I even like reading through the chapter titles. The whole book is basically structured around the idea of not believing the lies that you tell yourself or that society tells you, and every chapter starts with the lie and it goes into whatever that topic is. So like chapter 1 is the lie, something else will make me happy. Chapter 2 is the lie, I'll start tomorrow, and it just goes into stuff like that. And I just think it's going to be so interesting. I'm excited to read it. So this is on my July reading list. For August, I am reading my nonfiction book that I decided to read. It was, again, has been sitting on my shelf since it was gifted to me at Christmas time. And it is The 5 People That You Meet in Heaven. It was given to me by my dad and I'm close with my dad, so I'm excited to read this. My dad tends to be pretty good at that, choosing books that just seem to resonate with my life, I feel. So, you know, thanks Dad if you're watching this. I know you watch some of my videos, and right when you open the front cover, it says all endings are also beginnings. We just don't know it at the time. I just think it's gonna be a really great book to kind of give me some perspective. So I'm excited to read it. I feel like I'm at a good point in my life to use a fresh perspective, you know? So excited to read that book for August. Fiction book that I am hoping to read, fingers crossed. I have been on hold at the library for this book for probably about 2 months now. It's called Every Breath by Nicholas Sparks, and honestly I'm not a huge romance novel person, except for when it comes to Nicholas Sparks books. I do really like his style of writing. I like that it's not too like mushy gushy. It actually goes into the lifestyle and the scenario and just the experiences of the characters rather than just like this mushy gushy love story. So I really do like Nicholas Sparks as an author. Hoping I will finally be off hold for that book at that point. It's 2 months away now, so you know, hopefully I will be off hold on library at that point. But if I am not off the hold list by September, I'm just going to buy the book, because at that point the book will be almost a year old. Those are all of the books that I'm reading for summer 2019. I'm very excited. I love reading and I'm excited to share this with you guys. So like I said, connect with me on Goodreads. I'll put my account in the description box, or even just drop a comment down in the comments below and let me know what books you are reading or what book you're excited to read over the summer. I wanted to share this with you and see what books you guys are reading. I'd love any of your suggestions, especially when it comes to nonfiction books. I always love recommendations for new personal development books or self-growth, that kind of nonfiction. So if you have any good book recommendations, definitely drop them in the comments. But that's all I have for you today. I hope you are enjoying this new summer weather. I hope it's warm and sunny and finally summer feeling where you are at, because it finally feels like summer here. So thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.